Hi, welcome to Grow New Plants. So today I'm going to do something a little bit different. If you've watched many of my videos at all, you know that I'm a big believer in the Rootmaker system. The Rootmaker pots, there's all kinds of grow bags, pots, different size containers, but the Rootmaker system basically works on the theory of it prunes the roots at the tips to make them branch out inside the pot, inside the soil, and to make a nice big fibrous root system. I was checking some of my pepper plants that I grew, and I just pulled some out. Just every once in a while I'll pull some out to see what the root system looks like. And I saw something that was like really impressive, and it's really one of the better examples I've ever seen of what these Rootmaker system pots can do. So I'm going to show you a few different things that I've grown in the Rootmaker stuff and show you the difference. And the pepper plants, I'm going to show you the difference in a standard pot and a Rootmaker pot, and then just going to show you some of the other stuff that I've grown the Rootmaker pots to show you what they can and can't do. And I really don't know what they can't do. They seem to do everything that I want them to do. So to start out with, these are my Tabasco pepper plants, and I've got two examples so you know it's not just a fluke. And I just picked two random ones. So I've got two here that are in, that I grew these into, I think 18 cell Rootmaker trays. And then I transplanted them I put two of them into the 1 gallon Rootmaker pots, and I put the other ones just into these little cheap 6-inch pots to get ready to sell or give away or whatever. So I don't sell them out of the Rootmakers. When I'm ready to get rid of them, I put them into a standard pot because I don't want to lose my Rootmaker pots. So I take these and I put them, these are ones I'm getting ready to sell or to give away to friends or whatever. So I put these in these pots. So I just wanted to show you the difference, and we'll just randomly pick two of them. Okay, so I'm going to start out with one of these, just in a standard pot, and show you what the roots look like on it. So it's got a nice root system. The plants are super healthy, but if you look and see, all the roots, they just hit the edge of the pot and they start growing around, and they encircle the pot. It's a lot of roots, but they're kind of circling around. And I'll see if I can get this one where you can see the bottom, where they've hit the bottom and then they just run around. And eventually that'll girdle the plant. Okay, so I'll go ahead and leave that one out of the pot. And now I'm going to show you one of the Rootmaker pots and what they look like. Get out of the way. Okay, so you see here, all these roots, they just grow down, and that's where they hit these openings in these pots. And they're channeled where they point the roots towards these openings. So they go and they hit the ends of these pots, and it cuts the tips of the roots off. It basically kills them off with air, but it's just like pruning them. And then if you look down here on the bottom, this is the most impressive part right here. This is what really got my attention. All those little fine roots along the bottom. And that's where all those things that just got pruned off by the air pruning. And it's just all these little tiny roots everywhere. So as soon as you plant this thing into the ground or into a bigger pot, all these little roots are going to just take off growing, and it's going to just double in size in the amount of roots, and the plant's going to do great. So let's go ahead and take, just for comparison's sake, we'll go ahead and look at one more. I got, like I said, two examples of that. So here is the other two, so we'll just pull this one out. Pretty much the same, full of roots, but you can see they just kind of circle around. And this plant will do fine. It's a pepper plant. It'll do fine. It's not like a tree that's going to live in your yard for years and years. But a tree, this could be detrimental to the health of a tree planted into the ground if you let it do that. So we'll leave that one out. And this is the other one I had in the Rootmaker pot. And again, you got all these roots growing kind of down. They're not really growing in a circular motion. You see right here, all these roots hit that hole, and they just pruned out and made other baby roots. And then if you look across the bottom again, all these little fine roots everywhere. It looks almost like someone gave him like a haircut, where they just went in there and just cut the tips of those off. It works so well. And then the other thing too, I don't know how well you can see it because way they have the camera angle down. I'll lay these sideways and maybe we can see them from the above camera. I don't know whether both of these did this, but the ones grown in the Rootmaker pots, they seem to have a lot more branching, and I don't know whether that's just a coincidence or that's something that's normal through these Rootmaker pots to do this. If the root system's fuller, do they branch out more? But they're both nice pepper plants, but the ones in the Rootmakers, both of them had a lot more branching, a lot fuller. So I was going to show you just a couple other examples, and then I'll try not to make this video too long. So these are some of the big blue Liraki that I did a propagation by division on. And I'm just going to show you just kind of what the root system, these have been in here. I really, honestly, I'd be lying if I told you. I'm not sure how long. They're ready to be moved up into bigger pots. But if you look at those roots, nice, good fibrous root systems all the way down. They filled out this pot. We'll go and pull one more out just to make sure that's not a fluke. There's another one. That one hadn't grown all the way to filled out and caught all the dirt in the bottom, but that's a good example of what the roots look like. Just nice, healthy root system. And that's just in a, I think they're 24 count. 24 in a, there's 4 in one of these and then 6 go into a tray, so I call them 24 counts. Now this is one that's actually been into a pot for a while. This is a red yucca that I grew. It's probably 2 years old, but I just recently moved it up into these pots, or repotted it into these pots, probably this spring. And if you look here, you see all these things got a very aggressive root system. So you see right here, all these little tips have grown out of these holes. Almost every hole has a root tip coming out of it. But if you look at the end of the root tip, it's just kind of blunted off. And that's where that air eventually killed that root tip. And then these are where the roots are trying to grow out the bottom and grow down into the soil where they're sitting at. So let's see what this thing looks like pulled out of the pot. Right there. See, that's a real good example. All these roots here grew out of these tips and it stopped them. Instead of just growing around and around and around like they'll do in a normal pot, it blunted the tips off and then they just put out little baby roots going all the way around. See, that's a big old fat root right there that would have circled around. And you see it just killed the tip of it. And then it's made all these other little fine fibrous roots growing all around it. So this thing's ready to be transplanted into a bigger pot too. But anyway, I just wanted to show you that. I'm a big believer in these things. And I know they work. I've grown them. I've used them for years. And I'm a big believer in them. And I think they're very beneficial to your plants, and you're going to get better, stronger, healthier plants, especially once the plants get grown up to the point where they're transplanted into a landscape. They won't have those circling, girdling roots on them, and should take off into your new space and start growing almost immediately. So anyway, and by the way, I've got a code down in the bottom if you're looking for some of the Rootmaker products. They have a retail store. On their website, there's a link down at the bottom, and then I have a code for my website that if you use that code, you'll get 15% off. Anyway, I appreciate you watching. Please like, please share, and please subscribe. Thank you.